Hello, hello, hello everybody. This is Robin from Roaming with Rover, and this is Finish It Friday. It has been a while, I know. We have had so much going on with, oh my goodness, I think we've had, has it been before Thanksgiving? I don't even remember. But we've had craft shows and holidays and everything going on. But I wanted to make sure that we got on here and did a Finish It Friday because we got stuff going out the door and I needed to show you before I gave things away. Well, you know, not give them away, but get them to the people that I've been making things for. And some of it I already have, and so I'm going to have to insert pictures of things. I gotta figure out how to do that. I think I can. I hope I can. If not, you just have to take my word for it. Because you guys know we've been busy making stuff. But the busiest of all things, we've got a huge finished, and I mean 100% finished item. Let's just get right to it. Okay. Move this chair because this thing is noisy if I scrape it. And that is the Annie's striped crocheted sampler blanket. It is done, y'all. It is done. 100%. I don't even know what all you can see. I don't know what you can see. Holding it up over my head, completely finished. I love the size that it ended up. Here we go. Here's the whole thing. I didn't measure it. I just know this is a nice size blankie. This is a blankie that you can grab and wrap up in and snuggle on the couch. Oh yeah, I like that. That's a nice size blanket right there. That's a laying on the couch watching a movie size blanket right there. That's a nice blanket. Yeah, I like it. Yep. Okay. She's done. I bet you guys didn't think we were ever going to finish that. Look at all those stitches. I have to be careful. There's nails on the side of this. I do not want to catch it on a nail. So, look at all those different stitches. Boy, that's a good way to show off different stitches, isn't it? Look at that. Look at all those different stitches. Yeah, wowza. Do my, who's that? Dracula, my Dracula pose. Do my Dracula pose there to show up all the stitches. Yep, so she's done. 100%. Okay, so this was going to a friend for Christmas. Okay, so let me fold this up and then I'll show you what I did. Nice. So this is going to a friend who crochets, my one and only friend who crochets. But, like me, she crochets and she gives it away. So she doesn't have any crochet stuff in her house. So I'm going to put this in this beautiful organza bag. And I had it in the bag, so I know it fits. Okay, let's get this back over here without scraping and making all kinds of noise. All right, so let me show you what I ended up doing. Whew. So I did this much edging on it. So, okay, I've got a ruler right here. Let's measure. What do we do for edging? All right, there's 36, about 7 inches, just about 7 inches of edging. So there's a nice, quite a lot of edging you can see, and I just chose the colors that I liked. I like the way the edging ended up, and then I did that heart stitch. By itself on the edge for that last one. What do you think? Does it look okay? You can't really tell that it's a heart, can you? I like it. I like it. I like the way it ended up. I like the way it looks. Yep, I like that little bit of white on the edge there to just finish it off. I'm very, very pleased. You guys know how much hassle this thing was to get done. And I don't think she's going to even notice the mistakes in it. I will always know the mistakes that are in this thing. I will always know the mistakes that are in that thing. But I'm glad it's done, and I think she's going to be happy with it. I think so. Yes, I do. And this thing has been a 2-year-long project getting done. I mean, you know, the first year wasn't much work on it, but this last year we worked a lot on this thing, getting her done and ready to go. And so the party is tonight, the gift exchange is tonight, so I'm real excited about that. I have another one started at the house with the original yarn that came with it, which is Premier Anti-Pilling in those beautiful blues and grays and kind of burgundy colors. And you know, I was thinking when I finished this, I'm like, I am not doing that other blanket. I am done messing with this thing. And then I pulled that other blanket out, and I've got 7 stripes done on that thing. I don't know. I don't know if I want to mess with it. I really, really don't. I'm still inclined to tearing that thing back and using that yarn for something else, because I've got some other projects that I think that yarn would look really, really nice in. It certainly won't go to waste. That yarn is gorgeous. But the thought of doing another one of these, really not interested. There are some stitches in here, like this one. I loved this stitch. There are several stitches in here that I really enjoyed doing that I would not mind doing a blanket in, or even doing some of these stitches in a sampler blanket. But the idea of doing this blanket again does not interest me. Plus the fact that I know it isn't going to be big enough to make me happy. What do you guys think? Even knowing that the blanket that I've got started is probably, well, 7 stripes. It's the first 7 stripes of this thing. So what I've got started on it right now is, how much do I have started on it right now? So I have not that. Okay, so from the white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's not that much. So we don't count the edging. So we got from the white through the red. I've got this much started on it already. From the white here through the red, already started. That's not that much. If I wanted to tear it out, not really that much. Think of it like that I am inclined to just tear it out. Because I don't love it. I do not love it. And I know, having already done this, tell me what you think. I know how frustrating this pattern is. I know some of these stitches I really like. I really like a lot of the stitches. It's just the pattern that's so annoying. But I've already gone through the pattern and I know the annoying parts. I really need your help. I really need your opinion. I really need to know what you guys think. But this was the biggest accomplishment. This thing is done and ready to go to its rightful owner. I finished the mosaic placemat. It has gone to my grandson. If I can figure out how to get the pictures loaded into this, I will. If not, I'll put it in the next video. And the reason, I mean, I know how to put pictures into a video. They're on my other They're on my other camera, and I don't know how to transfer them from one to another because y'all know how I'm challenged. If they were on this one, boom, 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 it'd be no problem. I could include them. I cannot email it from there to here. Can't do it. So that's not a thing. I took lots of pictures of it so I would have it, but I can't get them from there to here. So that's not a thing. But it turned out beautifully, and I did block it. And boy, what a difference it made. I did it in his school colors, and he loved it. It turned out exactly the way he wanted. And if you recall, it was one of the things that I had taken with me on the cruise to do on the cruise. There's no possible way I could have worked on that on the cruise. I don't know what I was thinking. Because when you do mosaic, unless it's like Apache chairs where it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over, well, on that, just like the one I'm working on now, which I'll show you in a second, every row is different. The count on every row. So you're following a chart for every single row. There's no possible way I could have worked on that on the cruise. So I don't know why I even carried it along with me. But that's done. So that's another cruise project that's done. Trying to get all of those cruise projects complete, and I think I have 2 more. I've got the socks, the crocheted socks, and that beautiful, beautiful Rowana. I think that's the only 2 things that I have left that I thought I was going to get done on the cruise. They're going into next year's rotation, so still going to do them, you know. And I've added about 4,500 other things. Speaking of next year's rotation, let me get this set down. It feels good on my legs. It is so cold. It is always so cold in here, and the heater just kicked on. So, I do not want to catch this. On the side of this table that I'm sitting at, they've got yardsticks tacked on, which is really nice because I use this all the time. But those little tiny nails, you know. So one of the things that I have been working on the last few days. Remember I bought this, I don't know, 2-3 years ago from Crojo Corner, crojocorner.com. And I don't know, it's on Amazon. She's got a ton of them. One of the things I liked is it's the same, look how thick this is. And it's got tons of stuff in it. Tons and tons and tons of things you can record in here. Yeah, I was gonna keep track of all my yarn. That did not happen. But, and I want to say it was 20 bucks. Could be 24. I go on to Amazon and look for it. There's things I love. There's things I don't love, just like anything that you buy. But, what I do love about this, and what was I going to say? There was something I was going to say. One of the things I love is you can get the same thing in all different covers. So I picked the girl with the dark hair because, you know, I used to have dark hair. I picked dark hair and the kitties. So, and it's so funny because at the time I had my Rocky kitty who was black and white, and now we've got Lilu. She's a calico, but she's got a lot of black and white. And of course we have Topaz, and that's the color of Topaz kitty. That's kitten's colors. So me sitting on the couch in my jammies, crocheting with the kittens helping out. So that's why I like that, because you can choose the cover, and they're all different choices of colors. So that was a fun thing. Anywho, the point of this was I go through here and I make lists of what my and this is last year's list, and so I have gone through and did a little color coding this year, like that's going to make a difference. But you can see it's getting stuff written down, getting things figured out. But I did transfer the stuff from last year that I did not do to this year, and we're working on it. We're getting things organized for next year already. Thinking. So what am I working on? This was a huge big finish. Finished, that's all my Christmas crocheting. It's all done. I did not do a lot of Christmas crocheting this year because I learned from last year not to put so much pressure on myself, not to put so many deadlines on myself. And so now I'm actually working on a couple things that I want to do. And you guys have heard me talk about this project. This is the Juniper and Oaks, and this just popped up kind of a last minute thing because I had purchased her crochet along, and I'm gonna get the name wrong. So it's just the Juniper and Oaks. Does it say in here? It was a Nordic blanket. It doesn't say on here. Oh, I did not know she was a nurse. I did not know that. Anyway, no wonder I like her so much. Juniper and Oaks, here's her picture. I'm sure you've seen her all over the internet. There she is. And I will link her thing down below. I like her a lot. She's got Etsy, she's got Ravelry, but I bought, usually her crochet alongs are free. She did a paid one right before I left, or in the middle of my cruise. I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep up. And I've got a video a few videos ago, an unboxing of the yarn that I bought to do that blanket. And I'm still going to do that blanket. It's on my list. And it was it's a tapestry, not tapestry, mosaic. It's a mosaic. Blue, and mine is blue and white. And then she did this Christmas Nordic Star. I think in fact it's called the Nordic Star blanket. I could be wrong. But then she came up with this Christmas stocking, a mosaic in the round Christmas stocking to kind of go along with that blanket. And it really caught my eye. And it was a 5-day crochet along. Well, of course, you know me. It's been more than 5 days. And this was the stocking. And this coincides with that blanket, if you wanted it to. You didn't have to. This was free. And yeah, it was free. And so I jumped on it. So day 1 was the toe, and I kept up with that. Day 2 was this part, and I kept up with that. And then I was lost. Not lost, but fell behind. So day 3 was the top part, and that's what I'm still working on. Then day 4 is this, and then day 5 is the afterthought heel. I struggled a little bit. I didn't struggle, but I had made some mistakes. I'm about in this middle part here, and I've had to tear it back a couple times because with mosaic, there's a very definite pattern here, and if you mess it up, you gotta fix it. So I am fixing it. I have fixed it a couple of times, but now I have really fixed it. And so this is the chart that I'm following, and the charts are not hard. You just have to follow them, and you have to follow them correctly, or you got a mess on your hands. And I am using Schitt's Creek yarn, which I bought on a very good sale from Lion Brand, and it was $2 a skein. This stuff, full price is $10 a skein. Well, you know I'm not paying $10 a skein unless it is nice yarn. This is just basic yarn. It's good. It's good. It's nice yarn, but it isn't nice yarn, if you know what I mean. This is Lion Brand. It's a 200 gram skein of yarn. So there's a lot of yarn on. 372 yards, machine wash, gentle cycle, tumble dry. Don't iron. Do not triangle, which I learned the other day means do not bleach. But I like do not triangle better. It calls for an H hook. I am using an H hook, coincidentally. And this is called, it's white. It's called Hide Your Diamonds. They have the cutest name for these colors. So this one is Hide Your Diamonds, and the blue is called Bob's Garage, I believe. Yes. This is working up great. $2 a skein. You had to buy 6 because it was $2 each. It was 6 for 12, so $2 each, but you had to buy 6. That's fun. I bought, because this is the yarn I'm using for my blanket, my crochet along blanket, which is that basic design in a full, nice, great big blanket. So I just grabbed one of each of these because I wanted to work the yarn to see how the yarn worked. I'll tell you what, and I've done, this is my third or fourth tapestry, or not, I keep saying tapestry, mosaic, and it is, I like, mosaic is turning into one of my favorite ways to crochet. I like it a lot. And doing in the round is tricky. It's a little bit different. So this is how it's working. So there's my little toe. My toe worked up great. Basic, single crochet in the round. And since I've been doing so much amigurumi, I've got this, I can do this in my sleep. There's my section 1, there's my section 2, there's my split for the heel, there's my section 3, which I've done multiple times now. But now I finally figured out my problem and I fixed it. My biggest problem is I do this stuff at 10 o'clock at night. That's my biggest problem. Okay, so I'm about halfway through this part. Then I'll do that part, then I'll do the cuff, then you come back and do the heel, which I'm excited to see how that works. Okay, couple things. If you decide to do this, I highly recommend doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's an easy pattern. It's an easy chart. But I'm going to tell you a couple of things that either I missed, which is more than likely the case. Anybody who has done mosaic, one of the first things that we learn is, and mine's a mess, when we do this chart, this first row that has the letters on it, that is, what do they call it? It's your, it's like, there's a word for it, and it's out of my head, but it's like your stabilizing row, your setting row. And there's a word, but I cannot remember it. But anytime you're doing mosaic, this first stitch in every row is a single crochet. And then you go on. And that also tells you what your color change is. That's how you keep track of what your color is. Well, in the round, you don't do that first stitch. And I did not see that note anywhere. I'm sure she told us, I missed it. So the first couple of rounds, I'm adding that stabilizing, that setting stitch, and my count was coming off. My count was wrong, and I could not figure out what I was doing wrong. And so I sent her a little note, and I'm like, am I messing this up? And she goes, no, we don't do that first stitch. I'm like, okay. Then it was perfectly fine after that. So if you do this, don't do, so this very first row where it has the letter in it, that letter just tells you what color you're using. Don't crochet that first row, that first stitch. Okay, so that's the first hint, the first trick I'm telling you. The second one, unless you're a way better crocheter / counter than I am, stitch markers are your friend. This is, so not counting that first stitch, that's the first stitch of your repeat. Now I'm making the small one, so you're doing this chart twice. Okay, so you go all the way across, that's your first stitch, that's your last stitch, before that red line. So where that X is the last stitch. Okay, and then you're gonna do it again. So you're going to go back to here where that red line is. That's your first stitch. And you're going to go to the end. That's your last stitch. And then you're going to move up a row. So the green is the first stitch of the row. Green is go. So I have marked the first stitch of the row and the last stitch of the row. I also have marked the last stitch of the repeat and the first stitch of the repeat, which you wouldn't think you would need to mark because duh, that's the first stitch and that's the last stitch. What difference does it make? But when I'm looking at this chart and I'm making sure, okay, I did a single there and I need to do a double here, and when I'm looking at the way it's working out and I'm looking at my count and I'm looking at my stuff, it just makes it easier in my little brain to have the first and the last stitch marked. I don't know why, it just makes it easier for me. I have also found what makes it easier for me. Who knows why? That's just the way my brain works. And after I had to pull these 2 rows out, not once, but twice because I messed it up, I started marking with a little stitch marker. See this center thing and this center thing? I don't know why. That's this stuff here. So I just put a stitch marker there. So this clump of stuff and this clump of stuff is the beginning. That's the beginning and end of your repeat and your row. And this center stuff here is this. So that's, see, now you can see the pattern. That's where your pattern is. And for some reason, my eye kept wanting this to be this middle stuff, and it isn't. This is this stuff. So it just helped my little brain to mark where those things were. You do you. You do whatever works for you. But as soon as I marked all of those little things, it was smooth sailing. And anytime you're working with a chart, whatever helps you keep your place. I mark off. Now, because you use the same chart for this section and for this section, I've already gone through the whole thing once, and I couldn't find my pencil a second time around to erase it, so it was done in pen. So I marked it all off the first time, and then I'm going back through and marking it a second time. Then I got this see-through, which I love that stuff. I love that stuff. And I just bought a new thing of it. It's highlighter tape. It's just like your highlighter sticky stuff, but it's on a roll. So you can tear off a piece of it. And I put it right on there so I can tell what row I'm working on. It's just one more thing to help out. So I know exactly I'm on row A. So that just helps me know exactly what row I'm working on. Right there, that's the row I'm working on. And I cross it off on both sides. I can mark off on both sides when I have finished a row, and then I move my little piece of tape up. Just anything that will help you keep your place on these things. If you don't like the chart, if you like it written out, she's got it written out as well. I find this to be too fussy. But if you like that, she's got that on there as well. So that's what I'm working on. That's the only thing I am working on. How bizarre is that? Because I have finished this. I've got a million whips, but right now, this is it. This is the only project I am actively working on. I want to finish this because I thought I was going to have it done last weekend. Ha, ha, ha. I want to do I found a Fair Isle hat that I want to do because I want to learn that stitch. And basically that's why I did this. I wanted to learn how to do this in the round on a small project. I've got a Fair Isle hat that I want to learn how to do the stitch. It's the waistcoat stitch, and I want to learn how to do that. And so I found a hat pattern by, is it Hanjan? I even wrote down in my notes, Stardust Crochet. It's the Fair Isle hat by Stardust Crochet. Because it's a stitch, I keep saying that I want to learn, and I've got 2 or 3 projects for next year that use that stitch. And so I thought this small, just plain old hat would be a good way to learn that stitch. And it only uses two colors of yarn. So that is going to be my next project when I finish this. And before I start any new big projects, or before I start any of next year's projects. That's where I'm at. What do you think? Are you surprised I'm only working on 1 project? That's weird for me, isn't it? And I say this, when I'm only working on one project, I kind of like it. Although that's not true, because I still have that, because this is a project that I cannot do anything else. And I have a feeling that Fair Isle hat's going to be the same thing, because it's a chart. Anytime I've got a chart, I can't work on anything else. You have to have the chart in front of you. You have to pay attention. But I do have, and I pulled it out the other day during Rad Girls. It's that silly granny square cocoon sweater, and it's literally a giant granny square. And when it gets as big of a square as you want, you fold it up and sew a seam, and then you just put your arms through it. So I have to have something like that for when I'm sitting and talking. Like right now, I could be crocheting on that while I'm sitting and talking to you guys. But I have to have something like that, because these kind of projects, I can't sit and talk while I'm working on, while I'm working on that, I can't sit and talk to you guys. So during bingo and during Rad Girls, I got to have something like that where I'm not counting and reading a chart and things like that. So that's why I have to have things that are a little more intricate and then things that are a little easier. Look what else I pulled out. You guys haven't seen me, I don't think you've ever seen me working on. And see, this was the other thing, because I didn't have anything portable, so I pulled this out the other day and on Thanksgiving, and I took it to Thanksgiving dinner with me, and I got about 6 stitches done, because there were littles, and it was more important to play with littles than to play with this. So I started a cross stitch table runner, and it's one, literally the whole thing is one color. It's all done in white. So I grabbed this and took it with me. It's green, obviously, and the design on it is, you can see it really easy. It's holly. It's called Frosted Holly or something like that. So the whole thing is done in white. And I thought, oh, that'll be easy to take with me. I won't even take it on Christmas because there's going to be way too much going on. But again, this is something easy to take with you. It's one color, so you don't have to take a whole bunch of junk with you. Completely portable. I don't need instructions. This is all I need. Some thread, my needle, my hoop, and off we go. This hoop right here, you don't see oval hoops very often. This was my grandmother's hoop. My grandmother taught me to cross stitch. She's the one that taught me to crochet. And I'm really happy to have this. And I like this hoop. This has always been and I've tried 3 or 4 different hoops. They've got some now that are, they look like PVC pipe almost. And I've got that on my list. And I have thought about grabbing one because it's supposed to hold it in place better. And they're bigger for you to hold on to. It's supposed to be easier to hold on to. But I always go back to this one because it was my grandma's. And I always think about her. My grandmother was very disappointed in she tried to teach me how to embroider. She gave up on me. My stitching was terrible, but she didn't mind my cross stitching, but my embroidery was just awful. Still is to this day. I cannot make a French knot to save my life, but I can cross stitch, and I love cross stitch. I did cross stitch for years and years and years and years and years, probably more than crochet. So if you ever asked me, I would have told you that I was a cross stitcher first and a crocheter second. So that's it. These are my projects. These are my works in progress right now, is this and this. Isn't that funny? But that's gonna get done over the next couple days, and there's no hurry on this. It's just a filler. I could probably even work on this while we're doing bingo and while we're doing Rad Girls. Maybe you might see that in the background. So that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today on Finish It Friday. I do have some really interesting videos coming up. One that's going to be kind of a surprise. I've got some unboxings coming up. And ooh, I've got a really great, it hasn't even got here yet, but I've got a really, really great unboxing coming up. I'm so excited. so excited for it to get here. Yeah. I'm gonna get this wrapped up and off to the its new owner this afternoon. Thank you guys so very much. I hope to see you at bingo every Monday night at usually most Monday nights 4:30 Pacific, and Rad Girls Wednesdays at 10 o'clock Pacific. Come see what we visit about. And thank you so much for being. I really hope you'll subscribe, and I hope you'll give this a like and pop it over to somebody else who you think might enjoy these videos. Thank you so very much. Bye-bye.